Yeah, Brian, I think that once the first prosecutor crosses the Rubicon here, we're going to hear from the other ones. We heard that the Atlanta case, which is about the 2020 election, was fairly imminent, that they were, we heard that grand jury woman a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
I think that case is coming. And there's also the special counsel has been very active the last few weeks in terms of the grand jury. That's the Justice Department. So that's the January 6th stuff and the Mar-a-Lago stuff.
Wow.
I think there's a lot more coming.
This past Saturday, former President Donald Trump shared that he faces potential arrest over accusations of hush money paid to adult film star Stormy Daniels. Fox News contributor and former assistant U.S. attorney to the Southern District of New York, Andy McCarthy, joined One Nation with Brian Kilmeade in order to discuss what the news means for Trump. And according to Andy McCarthy, 45 may not only be facing charges from New York, but also Georgia. Now, I will believe these charges will stick to Teflon Don when I see it. And Trump wants people to believe that this really isn't about him.
They know that we can defeat them. They know that we will defeat them. But they're not coming after me. They're coming after you. I'm just standing in their way. And I always will stand in their way. Thank you very much.
They're coming after me. I haven't. Never mind. Mushrooms are gross now. Well, I guess the they in this scenario is law and justice, and the you is MAGA. And trust me when I say, as a black person, I know that law and justice are coming after me if I commit a crime, even if I don't. And considering what Trump has said before, I know that black people aren't necessarily considered MAGA. More on the I'm just standing in their way part later. Now, former President Donald Trump has also been rage-truthing through all of this. While there are people who, of course, can't wait for the possibility of seeing 45 handcuffed, perp-walked into a mugshot in order to see what Trump inevitably looks like without that orange agent he puts in his face, I want to highlight this tweet that said, when Alvin Bragg holds his press conference announcing the indictments of Donald J. Trump, he should do so with the Central Park Five standing behind him. They are exonerated. On social media, rumor, speculation, and innuendo at this point has been swirling that Trump supporters will turn to violence in order to protect 45, or, for example, defend Mar-a-Lago. There have also been threats aimed at Bragg. Whatever the case, reportedly, Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg emailed his entire office that attempts to threaten or intimidate the office by Donald Trump or his followers will not be tolerated. With that said.
All right, so Trump took to Truth Social and wrote, the far and away leading Republican candidate and former president of the United States of America will be arrested on Tuesday of next week. Protest, take our nation back. Here's a free piece of advice for anyone who does heed Donald Trump's calls to show up and protest on his behalf. He does not care about you. He doesn't care about any of his supporters. You are useful idiots for him. 1,000 people were arrested because of what happened on January 6th. Guess how many times Trump visited? Guess how much money he spent on their legal fees? Not a single solitary penny. He pretends to love you while you're doing his bidding, and the moment you become inconvenient, the moment you need something from him, he disappears faster than a bat out of hell. So take your lesson from the first time, because I can absolutely guarantee you that he'll hang you out to dry again.
To those who believe that President Trump is talking to you, specifically when he says to protest, whatever that means, January 6th, please keep this in mind. According to a Department of Justice database, there have been about 978 people charged and arrested with multiple crimes related to the attack on the Capitol. The median age of the defendants is 39, with over 86% identifying as male, and for the majority coming from Texas, Florida, Pennsylvania, New York, and California, according to George Washington University's Project on Extremism. 335. According to the DOJ, about 335 people have received sentencing in relation to the January 6 attacks, and approximately 185 have been sentenced to time in prison. Again, Trump has not supported them. He didn't get in their way, whoever they are. So if they can come after us, then they should go after a former president too. This Tennessee governor knows that he dressed in drag when he was younger, but it didn't keep him from passing anti-drag legislation. You can find a link for this video in the description below. For more of my content, look for me on my YouTube channel called We Gonna Be Alright, or click on the Jeff Wiggins hashtag. And as always, my architect knows Japanese.